Okay, we are ready. The Women's Business Center of Richmond would like you to join us for our weekly Winning with Wow radio broadcast, hosted by yours truly, DrDanni, on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM. Each segment features a woman boss who shares aspects of her entrepreneurial journey designed to enlighten, uplift, and inspire. If you have business ownership aspirations, let us help. We can be reached at the WBC Richmond on our socials or WBCRichmond.org, or you can call us at 804-525-9499. Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Winning with Women. The WBC Richmond is located on the historic campus of Virginia Union University, and each week we come to you direct from ESPN Richmond studios. And we are excited today. I mean, I just am in awe of the individuals that we get a chance to talk to, and particularly with the incomparable Miss Rita Ricks. Rita Ricks, I have to tell this story. The first time that I had an opportunity to be in your presence, your graceful presence, it was at a She Means Business conference, yes. I believe. MBL was putting that on, and you did an interview of the keynote. Yes. And I love the way that you did it. It felt like we were all sitting on our couches at home and taking in almost like an Oprah moment. And I will just tell you that impression has never left me. It's been several years ago. I know that you do a lot of great things. And sometimes our viewers and our listeners don't have a lot of time in their day. They're driving, trying to get to where they're going, and they only have a few minutes to take in what we share. Yeah. If you had an opportunity to speak directly into their lives about your entrepreneurial journey and what you would want them to walk away with, what would that be?
So there are three things that I want you to think about. You are the business. You are your business, and the business is you. I have no doubt that you can learn the skills, and everything that we share with you, you can find. But it is about you understanding yourself and why do you want to be in business? And what outcomes do you want? And so the first thing that I suggest to everybody is to begin to journal, because there's so many things going on in your head. There's so much noise. And so if you can begin to journal in the morning, just to dump out what happened yesterday, and not putting it about tomorrow, but writing down what you expect for today. That's number one. The journaling really is cathartic, because you just have to write. Just write whatever's in your head, and also talk about what you're grateful for, because that makes you feel good. Being grateful makes you feel good. The second thing is to read something motivational, and there are plenty of daily motivationals, but that's what you want. Now that you've dumped out everything that may have been on your mind and your heart, now you can spend time reading about a motivational piece that you can keep with you the rest of the day. And then the third part is to be silent. It is in the silence that you find the solution. And so get you an eye covering, so that, or they call it an eye mask, so that you can literally slow down and be silent, because it is what has made the difference in my life.
Wow. I mean, and it's funny because I get a chance to say wow so much, because we're talking about winning with women. Yes. But the truth is, you have laid a foundation in just those 3 points that can speak into the lives of those entrepreneurs who have a business plan that's over on a shelf that they need to pick up, because sometimes the cacophony of the day and the distractions in our visual can lead us to feel overwhelmed.
That's right. That's right. That's
and
right.
So you spoke to the mindfulness of an entrepreneur.
And so we are so busy trying to be appropriate and pay attention to what everybody else is saying, which is why that business plan is still on the shelf. Mm-hmm. But all you have to do is begin to write down immediately, what is your vision? Where is it you want to go? How can you write goals and action plans if you don't know where you're going? So I encourage you to think about, where do you want to be in 3 years? Not how do you want to get there, because that's a goal. Where is it you want to be? Imagine yourself in 3 years being recognized or honored or known for something that you are. That's the difference. And once you get that vision, and I'm happy to help you with that, but once you get that vision, you can then start to create goals that will help you to get to the vision. Because see, you've got a plan now, you've got a GPS. You know what you know where you're going. So you write the vision and then you include the action steps next. And that's all you need. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be 95 pages. It just needs to be what you want to see happen. And then you can bring those that you have with you, whether it's staff, whether it's coaches, whether it's mentors, to help you get there. Don't think you're going to do it all. Don't think you're supposed to do it all. And just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Well, one of the things I often say is everything that's good may not be godly. That's a time for a new, but what you just said is that, just because you can do it,
that's right,
it doesn't mean you should. So you've given us a bit of insight into Rita Ricks, the coach, Rita Ricks, the sensei. Tell me about little Rita Ricks. How did you, and when did you come into knowing that you were going to be a boss?
Oh, wow. I think that my mom has always told me I'm bossy. My mom has always told me that. So I've probably been bossy all my life, but I did not think about being a boss. I went to school to be a sociologist. I love studying about people. So that's what I said I wanted to do. Took no business classes whatsoever. Went into teaching middle school, 6th and 7th graders for 15 years.
Where did you teach?
I taught in Hanover County.
Okay.
I taught in Hanover County.
Shout out to Hanover.
Hey, Hanover. And then when I left Hanover, because guess what? Kids come back every year. They don't stop coming. Every year they kept coming back. I said, I got to get out of this. And it was a woman that I knew who, she and I ended up opening a fashion boutique together. And that's when I realized, still not dealing with the business part, I realized that women will buy anything they want. If it's something they see they want, they're going to get it. That is so clear to me. And so the boutique helped me to understand women. I left the boutique after 2.5 years and opened an image consulting firm. And it was professional and personal because, again, you can dress up the outside, but what's going on the inside? And even if you have all of this makeup on, people can read your eyes. And so I realized that I really wanted to start with the inside and then work on the outside. I did the boutique for 2.5 years, and then I opened Mirror Enterprise, a professional and personal development training company. And still not thinking about being the boss, still just following my journey, following my path of delegating and coming up with the ideas and then having them manifest, watching them manifest. And so my path to being a boss has been probably a lot different from a lot of folks, but I have always been led. And one of the things that I know today about my journey and my vision is when you are being pulled by the vision, then you're going to be fine. Even when everybody else is saying, where are you going? What you doing? Why are you doing it? You don't have to answer those questions because you may not know them. But when you're being pulled by the vision, because you're being led, because you're being silent, because you're paying attention to your creator, the one who created you and the one who has the plan for you.
Wow. These nuggets that you're dropping are so rich. I do know that you have some publications, and I know that I think your website is Speak to Your Spirit. So, those pieces sounds like they've been in place and you've been able to capitalize and take advantage of those. I should say that the way we use the word boss around here is that we call that becoming your own success story.
That's
and
right.
So in the context of becoming your own success story, I'm sure that there have been individuals, including your mom, who've poured into your life and that have encouraged you in moments where maybe things, like you said before, weren't necessarily going as quickly as you wanted them to go. They may not have been manifesting in the way that you thought it should. And then other people might have been speaking things into your life that didn't fit and didn't belong. Can you share a little bit about the type of resiliency, whether it's an example of something that you had to press through have faith in that voice that was on the inside, that, speaking to your spirit, that, that awakens a lot of things. But I'm sure you've had some times where you stumped your toe or you hit your knee, and, help us with that.
So I can tell you that it was 1999 when I got a letter back from my doctor. I had had my annual mammogram, and I had been out of town for over 2 weeks. And so there was piles of mail. So I'm just going through them daily, not paying a lot of attention, just going through. And I found one that said, you have to come back because we found something on your mammogram. And I kind of put it to the side. I finally made an appointment. I went in and they took pictures, and then they said, we need to take some more. And I thought, okay, if they come back a second time and say they've got to take some more, there's something going on. And there was. They found this spot. I remember taking it to my female gynecologist, whom I adored. She put the picture up and she showed me the spot. She said, this is the problem right here. There are little legs coming out. And so she said, we're going to have to find you a surgeon, which she did. And we literally found out that it was malignant. I found out on a Friday. My surgeon made arrangements for me to have the surgery on Monday evening. It was 7 o'clock in the evening before I had that, before I could get my surgery. And I was able to leave the next day. I have to tell you though, when he told me that it was malignant, I went home and I sat in the dark. And I said to myself, this isn't the end. I can do this, but there's a lesson that I'm supposed to learn from this. And I guess I'd been studying a lot about me. I knew there was a lesson. I know now that things don't happen to us. They happen for us. And so we have to pay attention to what's happening and not just focus on the current situation. But how did I get here? I will tell you, I was just eating junk. I drank tabs. I was smoking cigarettes. I didn't eat fresh. I just was messing up my body. And I said to my body that I promised that I was going to come through this and I was going to do better. And that has made a huge difference. That was 1999. During the time that I was on radiation, my dad went in the hospital the same day that I had my first radiation treatment, and he died 3 days after. So it was 36 days after I had my first treatment. He passed. He never came out of the hospital. And I was able to manage that, manage my mom and get with her. I have a really good friend who used to tell me all the time, what doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
That's right.
Makes you stronger. And so that breast cancer was done for me. It really was.
Yeah,
it was done for me.
You said a couple of things that I want to put a pin in. You mentioned that it's not what happens to you, it happens for
Correct.
you. You said something earlier that took me into my remembrance when you talked about you are your business and your business is you. My daughter plays professional basketball outside of the country. And we used to, when she was little, we would always say, your body is your business. If you're not taking care of your body, you're not taking care of your business. Little did we know that she would actually be able to earn a living, doing
taking care of her body.
Taking care of her. She's only had 2 things that have happened to her, and she's been playing really competitive basketball for probably like 19 years, competitive basketball. And then she's only been she just went into the pro leagues. But she had a nose fracture one time. This girl just came down on her nose with the elbow on a rebound, and that was when she was still playing AAU basketball. So, and then when she got to college, her senior year, she had both of her teeth knocked out.
Bless her heart.
Just in one fell swoop, the girl came down, both her teeth fell out. And guess what? She had the mind, as she was laying on the floor, to look around and found her teeth.
And pick them up.
She picked them up.
Good.
and now she still has her own teeth. She didn't have to get false ones. They were able to do everything. But my point is, she's never had, praise God, I'm not going to say knock on wood because it ain't luck. It's the protection of the Lord. She's never had one of those Achilles that has. She's not had her knee dislocated or whatever. She hasn't had a broken arm or a broken leg. And so I just think that the same thing is with entrepreneurs. we need to be tooled in such a way that we can handle what comes our way, but we have to take care of our mental, physical, and spiritual.
Mind, body, spirit.
That's right.
That's it.
So talk to me a little bit about some of the writings that you've had before we go into break.
So I think about mind, body, and spirit, again, with the journal. I wrote a journal, and it has 52 epiphanies in there just to kind of guide you as you write, because some people say they don't know where to start. I always say start with gratitude, but my journal, and you can find that on my website, but my journal literally gives you things to think about. And the first one, I don't even know why I started writing this journal. It wasn't going to be a journal at first. It was just me going out to the park with Cheetos, because that's my thinking. It's my thinking food, and just writing. And this particular day, I must have been really going through something that I didn't realize, because the first thing I ever wrote was, I've been in this place before. It's not comfortable. I don't want to be here, but I will stay here until I figure the lesson out. And I figured the lesson. But let me just say, there are always going to be lessons. You're never, ever going to get there until the day you leave this planet. And because we're evolving every single day. And I just want to remind you that today is the only day, that's March 29th.
Yes.
This is the only day we'll ever have March 29th. So we can't waste it. We have to use it. We have to do something really fun, and we have to do something productive so that we can remember March 29th 2 years from now. But if you get till tomorrow and you can't remember March 29th, you're spiraling. You're spiraling. And always remember that we are human beings, not human doings.
Oh, wow.
And so we must be still. We must be still. We have to take care of ourselves today.
Rita, do you do, and it may be you or it may not be, I might have gotten my people confused, but there is something that happens at Richmond Hill that has to do with being silent.
So we do that.
Okay,
we do that.
Talk about that.
So we were at Richmond Hill. That's where it started. That's where I got my training. I did a 2-year course at Richmond Hill called RUA. It was for training spiritual directors. At that time, I didn't even know what a spiritual director was. I just knew I was lost. This was 2009. And without going to the backstory, I did not know where I was going. And so I ended up at Richmond Hill. I was enrolled. I was late getting there, but they had a space for me to enroll in that class. And for 2 years, we spent one night every month there, but we read and we prayed and we were silent. And in 2 years, I had to be silent 6 times for 24 hours. And that was the difference. I had to be silent. After a while, I started bringing flip charts with me because everything was coming at me so fast. When you are silenced and focused, you can hear everything. And so that was the beginning of my class. And God told me in that silence that He wanted me to offer a silent day, and it's called Listening to the Silence. We do it now, and we do it virtually.
Oh, wow.
Still today.
Outstanding. Listening to the silence.
And it's on my website, RitaRicks.com.
RitaRicks.com. Excellent. So, but before we go to break, I want to just mention to our listeners and our viewers, we are still in the process of celebrating women during Women's History Month. On Thursday, which is the last day of March, we are hosting a breakfast at Virginia Union. We're going to be honoring 5 outstanding women that really their selflessness is their strength and their success in very varied and diverse businesses. But it's one of those things where we have got to pause sometime and recognize that we have gotten to a place that goodness is not just what we have, but it's what we can give. And so we want to be a part of that power breakfast in that regard. And then I think we have some information that's going to be shared in the break as it relates to our conference that's happening in April, which I hope that you'll come. Yes,
for sure.
Yes. So we'll see you in the break.
Mike is here with one of Mike, the best business radio program around. I'm here with my good friend, DrDanni of the world famous Women's Business Resource Center. We hear you guys have something exciting coming up.
Well, most definitely. I'm glad that you asked us about it. We have our inaugural
When in April?
Winning with
April
Women
27th to
Entrepreneurs
28th.
Conference.
Okay.
At the convention center.
Oh,
27th
okay.
and 28th.
Yeah.
at
I'll
the
go, if
Rita Ricks
you tell me you're
Convention Center.
available, I'll go ahead and
We know
register
it's
you.
very exciting.
I will look at my, I
Check.
will look at my phone.
It's a very integral part of the community, and we know this is going to be an exciting event. This will be a
And
must.
do I have time to talk a little bit about my event, April 9th and 10th?
Yeah, when we come back from break.
Okay.
Information will
Okay.
happen
How long
there.
is this?
Who's
30
gonna come?
minutes?
27. I think. How much time we got left, Kim?
We are going to have an awards gala on the first
7
night
minutes.
after we
Okay.
had
Oh, 6.5
our
minutes.
pop-up business
Moving
expo
road.
earlier that
Yeah,
day.
I was trying to stop in the middle, but I kept trying to look at Kim's eyes to know when I should go to break.
Well, I guess I said this was Nicole and not you, but do you want me to be in charge of that, or do you want to be in charge of that?
Well,
I can follow you, but I can also give you the cue if you like
if
it.
I would rather you give me the
Okay.
cue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the next day, when we have all of our workshops, our keynote for the Women on Wealth Luncheon is Angel Rich. Angel has been touted in Forbes magazine and the Wall Street Journal as being the next Bill Gates.
Her
So we're
company has
going
just
to
got a
have
$1.5 billion
phenomenal time
valuation.
of celebrating.
And this
the
was a baby who
entrepreneurs
was
in our
struggling
area,
to get
but
angel
also
investors
educating.
initially. I'm so excited about her.
Oh.
I'm so excited.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
And she has a Virginia connection.
Okay.
She's a Hampton grad.
Really?
Mhm.
That's good.
Everybody can't be an Aggie, but you know, we're okay with the
I
virus.
tell you, but my daughter went to Hampton, so they got my money. They got
And they
all
got a
of
lot of
it.
it.
They got all of it. Mm, mm, mm.
The Women's Business Center at VUU has something in store for the entrepreneur. Whether you're an aspiring, surviving, or thriving business owner, our team delivers the most comprehensive and reliable entrepreneurial resources to take you to the next level. Learn more about our technical
we met
assistance, which
at,
includes coaching,
Owens &
connecting, and access to capital
Didn't
by
or did
calling
we?
us at 804.
Did you take Angela's
I
place?
did.
Okay.
I used to introduce myself as the new Angela. Are we about ready? You tell.
Yeah, 15 seconds.
99. Or you can hit us up on our socials at VWBC Richmond and on our website, vwbcrichmond.org. We can't commit to healing all ills, yet we
3,
promise to provide
2,
sage guidance for growing your business.
And we're back with the incomparable. I use that word because so when you think about incomparable, uncomparable, meaning we are all uniquely and wonderfully
That's right.
made, right?
That's right.
So, Miss Rita Ricks, you've talked a lot about some things that entrepreneurs and people in general ought to pour into their spirit and really embrace the gifts that the Creator have endowed them with.
That's right.
But you have other venues where you pour into people. Tell us a little bit about some of the things you have going on in the month of April.
So I have this amazing, we're calling it the Diamond Jubilee Weekend. And on April 9th, we're going to have what's called the Little Black Dress Day Affair for women only. And I just want you to come out with that cute little black dress. And first of all, feel great because it's spring and we're coming out of a pandemic. We're going to have amazing food, wonderful networking, some really cool vendors. And then I'm going to be talking about reimagine. That's what we have to do, is reimagine who we are as we're coming out of this pandemic. Who were we before and who are we going to be now? Because we have choices. We always have choices. And so the conversation is going to be great. And I can't wait for you all to register at ritaricks.com for the Little Black Dress Day Affair. I'm telling everybody, wear your heels into the venue and then you can put your flats on. But wear your heels into the venue. So that's going to be very transformative in thinking. That's on Saturday. On Sunday, where I'm hosting Marcus Johnson and Jazz on the James at the Estates at River Run. This is an amazing site, beautiful venue. I mean, I actually saw rolling hills, which I've never seen before. But when you come in, Marcus is going to be playing and we're going to dance. We've got great food. We've got Brown Foreman, who's going to do some bourbon tasting. And then Marcus and I are going to blend conversation with his music, and he's going to put some of my conversation to music. It's really cool. He and I have been working on this for a while, but it's just something different. So it's not a concert per se. It literally is going to be us talking for a little while about reimagine, because that's where I am.
Wow. So the way your spirit, your aura emanates, it really does lift a room. It lifts spirits. It puts me in the mind of our keynote that is going to be speaking at the Entrepreneur Gala Award session on the 27th. Her name is Dr. Cheryl Cote Williamson. And she is, she just has a presence. I want to, if you don't know her, I want to make sure I put the connection to her.
Perfect.
She publishes Cheryl Magazine. She's a multi-book best-selling author, and she's done a lot of unbelievable things in media. And so I definitely want to make that connection, because you are kindred spirits. And I just think that in this time where, you know, COVID has put a damper on a lot of things, but it's also helped us to identify the things that are important, the things that need to take priority. My mother always says that the things that you say mean the most to you ought to get the most of your time. And I think COVID has helped us to narrow our focus and be intentional.
Yes.
Can you talk about intentionality?
Because that's my word. That is my word. In order to, we're all creating a legacy, right? I mean, right this second, we're creating a legacy. So why not be intentional about this legacy that you are creating? That's what the journal is about. And once you really begin to feel intentional and focused, you will literally, as you continue to practice silence, you will be in alignment with your spirit.
Can everybody say alignment?
Alignment, because so many times women are walking around and they're just kind of just dragging. It is because you have pushed your spirit down. You have not allowed it to be up because you're trying to help everybody else. You want to do for everybody else. This is what you want to do. And you press you down and you lose you in the process. That's what I mean about reimagining who you are. That's why I want you to come in a sexy black dress to remind yourself of who you wanted to be when you were a little girl. Who'd you want to be? Who'd you want to be? So think about that. But you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional about getting up every morning and writing in your journal, reading something positive, being silent. You have to be intentional about being at the gym at 6:15. I have a fitness trainer twice a week. 6:15, I'm there. I'm fussing. He's not listening. I lift, I do what I'm supposed to do. I go home and I feel so much better. So we have to be intentional about where we're going with our mind, our body, and our spirit in order to just be alive.
Yeah. Who is it that said it? I can't, I think it's one of the little rapper girls that I like rap music. I'm sorry. I just, I think it's Nicki Minaj. She says something, just because you're living doesn't mean you're alive.
That's right.
And you really need to think about that. That is mindfulness, being present in the moment.
Present, and it's being. And I heard something the other day that I just love. I am living in my brilliance.
Woo!
That's it. That's it. Find your brilliance. Move in. Don't stay settled here, because this isn't it. When you're comfortable, you aren't growing.
So I hate to end on this note, but it's just been on my mind so much, the dynamic that happened at the Oscars. And I think that that's an example of when you have lost yourself somewhere. When, I look at Mr. Smith, Will Smith, and I think about when he was little, he imagined himself being an entertainer. He accomplished that. He parlayed that, his story of his life, into a sitcom, and probably very little effort, but he was very intentional about growing to be a media star. He invested in learning how to put himself in that position. And so I just want to call that out, is that sometimes you can get to where you're called to be, but if you don't keep the balance, writing about the things you're grateful for, reflecting on something motivational, and then getting in that space and being quiet. We've been with Rita Ricks. We thank God for her. Please tell people very quickly how they can get in contact with you again.
All you have to do is go to www.ritaricks.com, RITARICKSRR.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
What's your schedule? How much time you got?
I can